are able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty for all.
Okay, do we have anyone from the public here for comment on items that don't appear on today's agenda? All right, seeing none, do we have any additions to the agenda from the commissioners? No? All right. Moving on to the meeting minutes, as long as they're okay, we'll take a motion to approve the minutes for the January 7th meeting.
I'll move to approve the minutes from the meeting held January 7th.
I will have to abstain from that.
All right, so I'll make the second. So we have a motion, a second, to approve the minutes from the meeting held on January 7th. All those in favor do so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay, and I think you need to abstain?
I guess, either way.
All right, either way.
Either way.
However.
The motion passes, so
However
that's
Aaron
fine.
wants to count that,
Yeah.
motion passes.
You can put me in as a yay, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Now, moving on to the proclamations, we have proclamation number 2 of 2025, proclaiming January as National Blood Donor Month in Center County. And we have, is it Megan?
Megan, yep.
Megan Switzer,
Schweitzer, yeah.
Schweitzer here from, is it just the State Red Cross or
I am from our
Central
greater
Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania area, yep.
Great.
But I'm a Center County resident, so.
All right, oh, perfect.
I'm here local.
All right, well, why don't you get a little closer to the microphone so
all
CNET
right.
can pick you up?
Yeah.
I see a nod there. And tell us a little bit about National Blood Donor Month, very critical.
Yeah, so we just want to thank everybody for your support of the Red Cross. I did bring some stats just from our Center County locale here that rolls up into our greater region. But in Center County alone, from July 1st, which is the start of our fiscal year, to date, we have been able to hold 101 blood drives, through which we've been able to collect over 3,000 units of blood, and that's actually the highest count in all of our region. So way to go, Center County, and the donations there. We have also been able to respond to 3 disasters, and we are steady at 138 volunteers from the Center County area and the chapter. So really, again, great support from this area, and we hope it all continues.
Great, well, thank you, Megan. And we also thank your 138 volunteers.
Yeah.
That's a very good number, and obviously, people don't like to think about it, but when there's an accident, when you've hurt yourself on a construction site, when something goes badly wrong during outdoor recreation, you really need the blood donors to have lined up a couple weeks in advance at those 101 different events. And you said since July?
Yep, that's been
So
since
that's
July
really
1st.
roughly a half a year's worth.
Yep.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
So Commissioner Concepcion, was there anything you wanted to add or questions?
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to highlight the importance of blood donors. We know certainly in circumstances where there's natural disasters or any time when there's, a large number of people at once who might need blood donations, it's really important to have enough in the bank ahead of time. So it's good to be thinking about this, when it's good times and when it's convenient to go donate blood, not just when there's circumstances that bring attention to the need. So thanks for coming here today to talk with us about it.
Thanks for having me.
Great, thanks, Commissioner Concepcion. Commissioner Dershowitz.
Whether it's a natural disaster or, complications during childbirth, it could be, multiple things, during surgery, but it's important that we maintain a constant, reliable, steady flow of donor blood. And I think if there are certain types of blood that are more desirable or more scarce right now, if you could share any of those. I know there are some types that are always in need and some that are more common.
Yeah, I don't unfortunately have any numbers on where the levels are right now. I have not, that's kind of good news. I'm one of
good.
our board representatives with the Red Cross, and so typically if we do have a dire need for one blood type or another, we kind of get an SOS alert out there, and I haven't heard anything recently. Now that obviously can change at any point in time just with what's going on, but.
I know one of the negative types, I can't remember, is it A negative? I can't remember which
Well,
one.
there's
it
an
is.
AB, which is
Yeah,
really rare.
which is very rare, and
Right.
So anyways, if you have particularly a desirable blood type, now would be a great time to consider donation and keep that up throughout the year. It's a fantastic program, and thank you for all your effort in keeping our citizens safe.
Yeah, and if you do give blood and you haven't downloaded the app, the Red Cross actually has an app that does a really great job of helping to alert you whenever you're next eligible for blood donation. It'll help provide some options for blood drives that are near your location, all sorts of things like that. So it is a useful little tool if you do donate and you don't have it.
Thank you.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds like you're essentially doing a blood drive roughly every other day,
Yeah.
all year round. So hopefully it's a very convenient location. Now, I'm assuming that covers much of central PA for the 101.
That 101 is in Center County alone.
Alone.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're scattered all over. So there are churches that host them, there are schools that host them, there are other community locations that you can find them in. But again, if you go to the American Cross Red website, you can search
Yeah.
by zip code, and it'll give you a whole listing of what's available near you and any sort of perks that are attached to it. There's always lots of times you can get a T-shirt or
Oh, wow.
socks or things like that. So
All right.
yeah,
So not just a juice box.
that's right.
All right.
Get some snacks and maybe another perk too.
Wonderful. Well, thanks, Megan. Anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think so.
No, any questions from the press on that? No? All right. Don't go away. But unless there's anything else, I think we could take a motion.
I'll move to adopt Proclamation 2 of 2025, proclaiming January 2025 National Blood Donor Month in Center County.
And I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Proclamation number 2 of 2025, proclaiming January as National Blood Donor Month in Center County. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And why don't you come on up and center yourself on Bellefonte on the map? And JJ will, Amber's. There we go. Does that look okay, or do you need me to move the coffee cup? All right. All right. Okay. Oh.
Yeah, you gotta have that.
Make sure I get Amber in there.
Oh, you want us to shift this way slightly?
No, I
A
think
little easier to get Amber in? Okay.
Let's get the flags in there, and then one with Amber third. All right, thank you.
Thank you, yes, I do copy that. Thank you.
Perfect.
What a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
That one's mine. All right. Put things back together here. All right, and we do thank Commissioner Concepcion for joining us by Zoom, even though she's a bit under the weather, but we also, with everything going around, don't want to catch anything either.
Yeah.
Thanks. So moving on to contracts and authorizations, John will cover something under capital projects.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Before you for consideration is the approval of a contract with Stahl Schaefer Engineering to provide structural engineering services related to the courthouse retaining wall replacement project. The total contract is not to exceed $6,300.
Great, thanks, John. Appreciate you bringing that to the commissioners, and Stahl Schaefer Engineering working on that so quickly. I also hear one of the owners pretty good at making beer, too. Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
Yeah, no questions. Thanks for this.
Commissioner Gershon?
Yeah, it's good.
All right, looks like we could take a motion then.
I will move to approve the contract with Stahl Schaefer Engineering.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the contract with Stahl Schaefer Engineering. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, and now moving on to item B, under Planning and Community Development. Elizabeth has a Ag Land Preservation Program Certification of Appropriations.
Good morning, Commissioners. I am here this morning to ask that you certify a total of $107,099 in appropriations for the 2025 program year for the Agricultural Land Preservation Program. Of that 107,000, 80,000 is a standard allocation from the county, with 27,099 in clean and green rollback taxes. We will also have an additional 6,700 from Ferguson Township and 25,000 from Potter Township to allow us to preserve farms in their municipalities.
Great, thanks, Elizabeth. And I know also from time to time, you're able to add some federal funding to that
Yes.
particular pot. And the commissioners Commonwealth-wide would like to thank the state legislature and the governor for their support for the agricultural land preservation program. I think sometimes there are more than 100 farms Commonwealth-wide that are preserved on an annual basis. I know here in Center County, we do between about 1 and 4 on an annual basis. And what are we up to now? I haven't been on that board in a while. Is it like 64, 65?
We currently have 67 farms,
Oops,
totaling
still under.
9,351 acres.
All right, keep in touch with JJ, because once we hit 10,000, I want a party,
We're going to have a big party.
a big party. Yes, sounds great. Commissioner Concepcion, I think you're our current representative to the board.
Yeah, I'm really glad to have the opportunity to recognize this program as we're approving this. It's really critical that we maintain the ability to feed ourselves locally. And one of the things this program does is really focus on making sure that those farmers who have the most rich land agriculturally, some of the most important strategic farmland in the county, are able to afford to continue holding that as farmland rather than having it become developed land. So it's really an important program, and I'm glad that we participate so actively in it.
Great, thanks, Commissioner Concepcion. I know, Commissioner Dershowitz, in your long service, you've also been a representative to that board.
Yeah, John, did we have budgeted the $80,000, correct? That's in our 2025 budget,
Yes.
correct? All right, I just wanted to make sure that that allocation was correct. Okay, no, it's a great program. I think, the challenge always is there's more farms that need preserved than you have money, so it'd be nice to be able to have some extra dollars to put in there and to be able to fund some of those projects. But we'll keep soldiering forward. Hopefully, we'll see the continued benefit of it. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Great, thanks, Elizabeth. Yeah, actually, I saw the benefit of that 2 days ago as I drove by one of our local farms in State College and saw the beautiful sun setting over farmland instead of, say, a strip mall.
Yeah, it's wonderful to get to see.
Yes, yes. Great. Unless there's any questions, I think we could take a motion.
I will move to add the funding certification for the 2025 program year of the Agricultural Land Preservation Program to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to add the funding certification for the 2025 program year of the Agricultural Land Preservation Program to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
All right, and moving on to Human Services, Julia has an item for the Super Department of MHIDEI, Drug and Alcohol.
Good morning.
Hi.
I'm asking for you to approve a contract addendum with Brockerhoff Housing Corporation. This is to add a little bit additional money to pay for representative payee services for individuals served through our intellectual disability services. And this is for them to be able to get a little help with paying their bills and managing their money. If not for this program, the individuals would have to pay for it out of their own pocket, and it's about $54 per month per individual.
Great. Well, thanks, Julia. And perhaps people who've been here a while know about it, but some of our more recent transplants, which is probably a large fraction of the county, may not realize that it was the county commissioners and concerned citizens that helped save that hotel a number of decades ago. And now it is still standing and is being utilized by local citizens who love living in a downtown. Commissioner Concepcion, any comments or questions?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
No, I think it's important that we make sure that folks that struggle with money management have the opportunity to have their funds safely distributed. So good work.
All right, looks like we could take a motion then.
I will move to add addendum number 1 with Brockerhoff Housing Corporation to next week's consent agenda.
And I will second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adding addendum number 1 with Brockhaus Housing Corporation to next week's consent agenda, do so by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thanks, Julia. And now we have our consent agenda, which is kind of medium-sized, but I do want to give a shout-out to Karen and Eric from the Phillipsburg Revitalization Corporation here in the front row. We did highlight them last week for a project involving county funding to assist with affordable housing with 2 apartments in downtown Phillipsburg, encouraging residents to live in our downtowns, helps the local merchants, which as those local merchants are strengthened and have more customers, makes it more fun and interesting, which then attracts more people to the downtowns. So proven model called Strong Towns, and love seeing all your help and support there in Phillipsburg. It's been fabulous over these last few years, seeing Phillipsburg starting to revitalize. Not quite in the same way Bellefonte has over the last 10 years, but still seeing similar progress just with a Phillipsburg flavor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your support.
Oh, we appreciate everything that your team's doing over there. Let's see. So at this point, we'll take a motion to approve this week's consent agenda.
I'll move to approve this week's consent agenda.
And I will second that with the consideration that we separate out item A.
Oh, okay. Commissioner Concepcion, are you okay separating out item A on the consent agenda?
Sure, then I'll amend my motion to approve this week's consent agenda without item A.
I will second that.
All right. You got that down, Aaron? Okay. So our first vote will be to approve today's consent agenda from item B forward. All those in favor of approving today's consent agenda from item B forward, do so by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, nay. All right, the consent agenda from item B forward is approved unanimously. That leaves us with item A. We'll take a motion to approve item A for the correctional facility.
I will move that we approve item A under the consent agenda for the approval of a contract with Trans Systems Corporation Consultants.
I'm going to let you handle that one.
All right, I will second the motion. We have a motion and a second to approve item A under the consent agenda. All those in favor of approving item A, do so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
We have a 2-1 vote to approve item A under the consent agenda. So the consent agenda is approved, but by utilizing 2 motions. Moving on to authorities, boards, and commissions. Jillian Warner has been appointed to the earlier mentioned Ag Land Preservation Board to fill the unexpired term of another member. Her term will start January 14th and go through August 31st of 2025. Jillian runs an ag business here in Center County involving an equine training. Horses. Could call it either one. I know they call it both themselves. But bright young lady who is very friendly and is a local small businesswoman. All those, we'll take a motion to approve the ABC appointment.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the ABC appointment. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, moving on to the check run, dated January 10th. Since Commissioner Concepcion is unfortunately somewhat indisposed, I'll cover the check run today. We've got a couple of checks to Housing Transitions, Inc. for purchase client services, one for $47,925.17, and the other one for $12,747.76. I'd like to thank Housing Transitions for all the wonderful work they do, also for serving on our Affordable Housing Task Force. And as I was mentioning with Julia, just before the meeting started, I believe we're doing our homeless point-in-time count coming up here at the end of the month.
So Wednesday will be the evening, and then Thursday will be the daytime shift.
All right, and so that's the last Wednesday in January, and then the last Thursday is the daytime. So those believe those are being done nationally pretty much at the same time, so that we can have an update on those numbers. Obviously, with the affordable housing crisis, it can be quite difficult for some persons to keep a roof over their head. And do appreciate the funding from state and federal sources that assist the county housing transitions out of the cold and a number of other affiliated human service agencies in addressing that issue as well. So covered the check of the week. I think we can take a motion to approve the check run.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the check run dated January 10th. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Do we have an administrator's report this morning, John?
No, not at this time.
Not this time. All right. And I think at this point, we'll have to skip the voters registration report. We'll have another one next week. For our announcements, Sunny County government offices will be closed on Monday, January 20th, in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. John, do we have any executive sessions to report or hold?
No executive sessions to report or hold.
All right. Moving on to our public meeting schedule. On Thursday, January 16th, we have a Board of Assessment and Revision of Taxes meeting at 2. On Tuesday, the 21st, we have the Board of Commissioners meeting at 10. And on Thursday, January 23rd, we have the combined Board of Commissioners and Salary Board meeting at 10. We have someone from the press in the room. Do you have any questions, Jacob?
Nothing for you today.
Nothing? All right. Well, thanks for coming. Unless there's anything else for the good of the order, we could take a motion to adjourn by the time we're done with it, it'll be 10:23.
Okay, I will move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion to adjourn in a second. All those in favor of adjourning at 10:23, do so by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. We are adjourned.